Yes, people, hope we're all doing well. So, basically, right, the season's starting soon. And we're looking at the pre-season and we're looking at the players around it, and there's a lot of youth. There's a lot of good youth in there. So in this video, I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about and give them a rating again based on how I think they will do this year, how much I think they'll progress, and how effective they will be in the team, and if they'll play. And the criteria is quite simple. Anyone that is 21 or under. I'm not including loans from last year. So Gelhardt, the guys that were in the loan video yesterday will not be in this. Go watch that one. If you haven't, after this one, they will not be in this. No loans. Also, not players I don't think will be here. So Somerville, no, those players. If I don't think they'll be here, they won't be in the video. Yeah. So let's just get into it. Let's go. And the first one is Jeremiah Chulakoa Mullen. Now, I have to caveat say this, right? I watched a lot of any game that was live from the 21s last season. I did watch any game that was televised. So I've watched a lot of these guys. And one that really stood out to me when he played was Jeremiah. What I like from Jeremiah is he's very raw still. Obviously, he's 19 years old, but he seems to have a really good knowledge. He has a lot of attributes as well. He can run out with the ball. He can pass the ball. He's very quick for a centre-back. His positional awareness is good. Still quite raw, still makes some mistakes. But I think if he can grow, both physically and mentally in this season and be either in and around the squad, starring for the under-21s, be a real star in that team, maybe take a captaincy role, make a few appearances on the bench, I think that's really good stead for this young man. And the reason I put a 3 is we're going to have a lot of options at centre-back. I don't think he'll be high up on that list unless he trains phenomenal pre-season and puts his name in the thing. A lot can change. I'm not saying he's 3 out of 10 in terms of the player he is. I'm saying he's 3 out of 10 in terms of how much I think so far from what I see he will impact this season. Very good for the 21s last year, and I still think there's another season in there, in Premier League 1, by the way, where he take more of a leadership role, grow as a person and as a footballer, and really come into contention at times on the bench. Maybe he'll play the cup games. Maybe he'll get 1 or 2 appearances. I'd like to see it. Jeremiah Mullen is the first one on this list. The second one, Sonny Perkins, a guy we all know. Now, I put 6 out of 10. And again, for me, this is about options, about what we have in that position. And I'm looking at his position, and for me, he's definitely not a striker in a Farke system, I'd say. I don't think he's dynamic enough in terms of speed and his quick movements. What Perkins is, he's very technical. He's very technical. He's got a great shot on him, a decent pass. He can actually turn quickly with the ball. He's got good vision, good movement is brilliant. Game control is brilliant. So for me, in a Farke system, I see him more as a 10, and that's why I think in pre-season he'll actually get a bit of time in the 10 role potentially. I'd like to see that in that attacking midfield. I really like Sonny Perkins. 26 appearances and 11 goals and 3 assists in the 21s last year, and obviously scored in the FA Cup for the first team as well to take us through. Last-minute goal. And I put 6 out of 10 because, and again, 6 is quite high for this, believe me, 6 is high. A 10 out of 10 is a person who is a star player starting every game. So there'll be none of them. For me, Sonny Perkins is a good squad option. I don't want to see him on loan. He might, but I want to see him stay. I want to see him be part of the squad and understand senior football, get a really good grasp of it, maybe play 30, 20 minutes every few games, get a part of the thing again, be part of that 21 squad. But I've got 6 out of 10, a little higher than Jeremiah, because I still believe he will be a bigger part of the team, and I believe he's ready to be a part of the first team squad in the Championship, in my opinion. So yeah, Sonny Perkins is on there, 6 out of 10 for me in terms of how much he'll impact this season. Third one, and this is a bit of a cheat because, look, we bought him from Hoffenheim, but he has played for the 21s this year, so he counts. He wasn't on loan, so he counts. He's under 21. He's actually 21 years old, so he counts. Jorginho Ruta, last year, and this is at Hoffenheim as well, 33 appearances for 3 goals, 4 assists. We know that. We know the stats weren't great last year. But now I put 9.5 out of 10 because I've already done a video on him. I'm not going to win this one too much. Jorginho Ruta is, for me, football with so much talent, and it's just about understanding when to do what he can in the right positions or the right areas of the pitch, understanding his clear role, his clear position in the side. And the way things have been going from the vibes I get from pre-season, I feel like Farke is working with him on that. Now, he might not be the finished article, but if he can just switch his mentality up and look ready and raring to go at the start of a game and look like he wants this, the sky is the limit for it in terms of his talent. His talent is clear to see. It's just about transferring that consistently into a game performance under a certain system. And if he can, again, use this up here, channel that to I'm a star player in this championship side, and I have no reason why he can't destroy the championship. I'm not saying it will work 100% because we don't know what he's like up here. We don't know what's going through his mind. We don't know if he's fully ready for this. We don't know. We don't know, do we? We just don't. But I think he can, and that's why I put 9.5. And if he does, and he fits that role that Farke wants him, he will be one of the best players in our side if he fits that role. That's vital here, right? And I think he will. He's got to get this right. He's got to understand everything right. And 9.5 out of 10 for me is up there because he will, if it all works, he'll be one of the best players in the side. Next one, Diogo Monteiro, the Portuguese centre-back we brought in last year. 18 appearances last season. This is for both in Switzerland and for the 21s. And again, watching the 21s, when he came in, it was almost seamless. He came in and he took, obviously, usually take a few weeks to get into the side. But once he did, he stood out. He really did. He's not the biggest in terms of stature or height for a centre-back, but he's got a really good leap. He's really good with the ball. Like, his forward passing is brilliant. He's fairly quick, and he's a player that has actually been training with the first team pre-season. And I know a lot of the under-21s have, but the fact that he's only been here a few months and he's already established himself. He's not played a lot for the 21s. He played like 7 or 8 games. And the fact we've already seen the quality in this guy, and there is quality in there. I put 4 out of 10 because, again, I'm not sure he's up the pecking order in any but he might have a really good pre-season. He might really impress in training. That could take him up higher, right? Potentially that could happen. But for me, again, at 18, so young, another good year in Premier League 2, kind of on the brink of the first team, Premier League 2, in that middle gap. Like we kind of saw, the likes of Darko Jota and Sonny Perkins and Mateo Kovacic last season. Having that good role in him, a good season in Premier League 1 against top young players, would really do him well. I don't want to see him on loan, and I hope he won't. But yeah, 4 out of 10 for Diogo, but a good quality player to have if he grows in the right way he can. Archie Gray. Now again, and I know this might seem low, but hear me out. Probably the best young talent at the club in terms of age. The guy's 17 years old. 17. He's not even fully developed or growth yet. He's 17, guys. What a talent and what a player. Seriously. Was so unlucky last year with injury. Had a lot of, I think, obviously John McGinn ruined him in pre-season, which was just a joke, by the way. But then after that, he had other injuries. I think he broke his toe, which kept him out for months. He didn't get a chance, but once he turned up for the 21s, guys, he was phenomenal. He's like never been away. He's grown. He's getting bigger every time you see him. He's bigger. He's taller. He looks more like a man. Obviously, he's growing into a man. He's 17 years old, and I think we're gonna like a bit of Archie. I want him to stay. I don't want him to see him on loan. I think he's the type of player you want to learn around the squad because he's got all the attributes. He just needs to understand the hierarchy and earning his place. The reason I put 5 out of 10 is simply, again, down to his age. I don't think Farke will rush him unless he has to, and then he will throw him straight in if he needs to. But there's other players in that position. You look at Darko Jota, I think he's above him right now. And he's not going to play them both in the starting championship side. That's not going to happen. I think Archie will have a good role in the squad from the bench this year. If he doesn't go on loan, which I hope he doesn't, and play centre mid, attacking mid, and right back, which he played for England in the 21s, and especially in the second game he played there, he kind of played a Trent role and he played it brilliantly. His ball delivery is fantastic, really is. Really good player, really massive bright future if everything goes right for him and he gets it right up here. And he's got it right up here, but he stays up here. You know what I mean? A player I really like, but one I just don't think he's going to be as hype as people think. At the start of the season, I could be wrong. Look, he could be in pre-season, right? And he could be tearing everyone apart. And he might go above Darko JB. He might go above these other players. He might do that. That's obvious, right? He could, because he's that good. I'm not saying he couldn't. But right now, 11 appearances last season, he's not going to be a starter for Leeds United, is he? Unless there's loads of injuries, right? He's just not. A good squad role this year for Archie. And if he keeps progressing the way he is, by the middle or some part in the season, we could really see him grow and he could get more game time. But 5 out of 10 for the start, from what I've seen so far in terms of how much he's played and how young he is. Mateo Joseph. Interesting one again. Because again, this is going to depend. We all know Mateo Joseph. I don't need to tell you, he's a striker. He's 19 years old, still very young. 30 appearances last season, 19 in the league, 15 goals in the league, 17 goals in all competitions, 2 assists. He scores goals. Third top goal scorer in the Premier League 2 last year. I think in both competitions, by the way, it was top 5 as well. So that's in Premier League 1. Behind 2 or 3 City players. So phenomenal talent, goal scorer. What else do you want from him? Now, the reason I put 6 out of 10, which is quite high, by the way, 10 out of 10 is a starting best player in the side, plays every minute, most reliable player, need him every second. Right. So let's, he's not that. But the reason I put 6 out of 10, again, we've got a few options up there. I think a lot of competition. I think Mateo could have a big role for Leeds, and 6 out of 10 is a big role. That's a decent role. That's a good squad role, and I think that's where he'll be. I think he'll have a squad role. I think there'll be times in games when we change the formation or we change the situation we're in, players get tired, he will come on, and you'll know what you'll get. But this is down to him now. It's down to transferring that goal-scoring form into first-team football. And that's why it's a 6, because he's not done that yet, has he? We've not seen him do that. He's looked okay in the little cameos in the Premier League. He's not looked great. But in a championship, with a new mentality going into this season, with a real chance to progress in that first team, we might see an absolute demon that comes out and is our best striker. You don't know. But right now, from what we know and what we've seen, I anticipate a good squad role to start for Mateo Joseph. And if he gets his head right, when I say that, I'm not saying his head's wrong. I'm just saying we don't know. The future's there, right? If he does get his head right, that sounds like his head's wrong. What I'm saying is, if he continues to grow and his head stays right, yeah, and he adapts his mind to first team football and being ambitious and wanting to play, which I think he does, I think we could see a real growth throughout the season again. So depending on, if we bring in a top striker and he stays fit, Mateo won't play a lot. That's a fact of it, right? But if he doesn't, and there's a few injuries in there, he will get a sniff, and he's got to be ready for it. So Mateo Joseph, top talent, 6 out of 10. So the next one is Sam Greenwood, 21 years old. Now, this one's fairly controversial because a lot of people don't like him or don't rate him. Now, for me, as an analyst, I try to look at, but why is he not performing well? What can be done to make him do better in that position? And as a centre midfielder, I think he's totally wasted. I don't like that experiment. I really don't, personally. I don't think it works. I think his attributes and everything he does is a lot more suited to attacking midfield or centre-forward striker role. I just don't see him as a central midfielder in the slightest. I don't think his awareness in that position is good enough. I don't think his kind of speed of thought in terms of where he understands the ball has to go in that position. I don't think that's good enough. I think further forward, he understands, he's more comfortable with that role. Technically, is better for that position. He's got a good shot on him. He's got a decent pass on him. His movement's quite good. I just think behind the striker, or if we push to a 4-4-2, pushing on with the striker, I just think is a lot more effective. So for me, he's been wasted the last 2 or 3 years, and I just want to see him in an attacking role. I don't like him in central midfield at all. I put 7.5 because, again, people don't rate him. That's fair enough, people's opinions. But for me, I like his attributes. I like what he has. He has good attributes. He is good with the ball. He's good shooting. He's got a good delivery. He's a decent passer. Not amazing, but decent passer. Good enough. Decent tactical awareness in certain positions. Knows where the net is. Decent movement. Again, not the best athlete in terms of speed and acceleration and all that. But I think in a certain role, Sam Greenwood could be a very good squad player for Leeds United, who is always pushing the start. If someone gets injured, he's there in the squad. So that's why I want 7.5 for Sam Greenwood. The final one, and it's Darko JB, innit? Guy I constantly rave about because he's just really good. Like I said, I've watched almost every game I could for the 21s. Yeah, guy's a joke, guys. He for me, watching last year, there were some really good players in that side. Don't get me wrong, quality players. But Darko JB, sorry, was best player in the side every time I saw him play. Even in games where he's quiet, the bits he does are all good. And let me tell you what he does. One, he can pick the ball up from defenders and drive with it. He can pick the ball up from defenders and make a forward pass. He can keep it simple. He can literally run through 3 or 4 players. His turning, by the way, his turns he does when he's got the ball and there's a guy behind him, one little flick behind, run past him, gone. His turning is insane. The way he gets out of 2 or 3 players around him is insane. His passing's very good. His short passing's decent. He can ping a ball. He can hit it hard and low. Doesn't score as much. Maybe that's something he can improve on. But he has got a decent strike on him. He scored a cracking goal last year. The only thing I think he can improve on is defensive positional play. And maybe being a bit more involved at times. He's just go a bit quiet in games. But when he's on it and when he is involved, he's the best player on the pitch for the 21s every game. So for me, Darko JB is an 8.5 because, again, this will be down to who we sign and how he performs in training. Again, switching that mentality to first team football. That is a vital part of all this. Vital part of it. If they don't do that, they won't play. They have to do that. But what we've seen from him, he was okay in the Cardiff game. Not amazing. He was decent. It's a long time ago now. He's grown. He's be a better player now. His mentality in the Championship will be right. I can play. 8.5 for me is kind of a starter. And I think, and this is, again, this is going on how pre-season goes, right? This is how he performs. I'm not there. I can't see. This is going on how he performs in pre-season. If he performs well in pre-season, I can see him. I'm not saying he will. I can see him starting for Leeds United. And if he doesn't, if we bring in 2 top operators, or we keep Tyler Adams and we bring in a top operator and centre midfielder, he's the next on the list. He's 3rd. He will play a lot of football under a FAC system in a 46-game season with cups. He will be important for Leeds. Very, very important this season. And I hope he steps up to the plate because he's, in terms of talent and what he can do on a pitch, there is literally nothing he can't do. He's that good. And I'm not the one saying it. Scouts have said it from a long time ago. People comparing to Yaya Toure, Vieira, people like that. I've seen it. People have said it. And when you watch, you see it. Now he's just got to adapt himself to first team football. And I hope he does because what a talent. Raw talent, what a player he is at 19 years old. Yep, and that's my list, guys. That's everyone I've got. Like I said, some people don't make the cut because they've been on loan last season. They're over 21, like Sam Greenwood. Players like that. If I've missed anyone, it's probably because I don't think they'll be here next year. So Nonto, Somerville's 1 or 2 others as well. But yeah, those are the guys from the 21s that I think can step up to the first team this year. I like the look of some other ones. There's Allen, there's McGurk, there's Spencer, there's the other young lad, Moore, yeah, Chris Moore, yeah, I forget names, I'm terrible. Those guys are really good too, and they could step up. But right now, these are the ones. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about them. Again, on the ratings, take into consideration, anything above an 8 is a starter constantly, right? So take that into consideration. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate all the support. Yeah, what do you think of it? And let's see what happens, and see you later, guys. Peace.